They don't hate you. They don't dislike you. They just stopped caring. And the terrifying part? You have no idea when it happened. There's a moment, a specific moment, when someone decides you're not worth their respect anymore. You don't see it. You don't feel it. But they do. And once that switch flips, it almost never flips back. Today we're going into the psychology behind that moment. The invisible behaviors. The small, almost undetectable patterns that make people, your coworkers, your friends, the people you love, quietly lower you in their minds. By the end of this, you're going to recognize someone in your life who does this. And then, you're going to recognize yourself. Section 1. The Oversharing Trap. Here's something nobody tells you. The more you explain yourself, the less powerful you become. Most people think that if they just clarify enough, if they just make people understand their reasons, respect will follow. It doesn't. Every time you over-explain, your brain is sending a hidden signal. And that signal says, I need your approval to feel okay about my decision. Think about the last time you canceled plans and texted a paragraph about why. The traffic. The headache. The thing at work. 3 sentences became 6. 6 became 10. The other person read it and thought one thing: why are they explaining this much? Psychologists call this justification anxiety, the compulsive need to rationalize your choices to others. It's rooted in a deep fear of judgment. But here's the truth. Respected people don't explain. They decide. When someone at the top of the social hierarchy cancels, they say, can't make it. Let's reschedule. Full stop. No novel. No apology tour. And the crazy thing? People respect that more. Not because it's cold, but because it radiates something primal, the signal that says, I trust my own judgment. You should too. The moment you stop performing your reasons for people is the moment they start trusting you without needing them. But most people never reach that point. Because the oversharing trap has a twin. And it's even more dangerous. Section 2. The approval loop. Watch someone lose respect in slow motion. It starts with one laugh that wasn't genuine. One agreement they didn't actually believe in. One yeah, totally when they meant absolutely not. You've done it. We all have. It feels harmless. Social lubricant. Keeping the peace. But the human brain is a pattern recognition machine. And the people around you? They're running that machine constantly, whether they realize it or not. When you consistently agree, consistently laugh at things that aren't funny, consistently shape your opinions to match the room, people don't consciously think this person is fake. They feel it. It registers as a low-level discomfort. An instinct. Something slightly off about you that they can't name. And here's where it gets dangerous. The more you perform approval-seeking behavior, the more invisible you become. Not hated. Not disliked. Just irrelevant. Background noise in someone else's story. Dr. Robert Cialdini's research on social influence shows that people are fundamentally drawn to those who demonstrate consistency, who hold a position even under pressure. It's called the commitment and consistency principle. When you flip your views the moment someone pushes back, you don't seem agreeable, you seem hollow. Think about the people you respect most. Do any of them scramble to agree with you? Do they change their answer the second you raise an eyebrow? No. They look you in the eye and say, calmly, I actually see it differently. That's the behavior that builds respect. Not agreement. Grounded disagreement. And there's a painful irony buried here. The very thing you do to make people like you is the thing quietly destroying how they see you. Section 3. The emotional leaking problem. There are two types of people in every high-pressure situation. Type 1. The person who lets you know, in real time, with full detail, exactly how stressed, overwhelmed, or anxious they are. Type 2. The person who acknowledges the pressure briefly, then moves. Guess which one people respect? Now, this isn't about suppression. This isn't toxic masculinity or emotional unavailability. This is about something much more precise: emotional regulation as a social signal. When you leak your emotions unfiltered into shared spaces, you are, without knowing it, placing your emotional weight on the people around you. And people can only carry that weight for so long before they start pulling back. Here's the scenario. Work presentation. Something goes wrong with the tech. The screen freezes. Person A starts visibly flustering. Apologizes 3 times. Makes self-deprecating jokes that aren't landing. Looks to the audience for reassurance. Person B pauses. Takes one breath. Says, "Give me a second," not frantically, just calmly. And waits. The room watches both people. And in that moment, the room decides who they respect. It's not about being perfect. It's about being regulated. Psychologist James Gross's research on emotional regulation shows that people who manage their emotional expression in social settings are consistently rated as higher status, more competent, and more trustworthy, not because they hide who they are, but because they don't discharge onto others. Most people never notice this dynamic. They think emotional openness always builds connection. But there's a threshold. And past that threshold, it builds something else entirely: quiet resentment, exhaustion, distance. The people in your life who you love but feel drained by? This is probably why. Section 4. The softening disease. Pay attention to how you ask for things. Sorry to bother you, but could you maybe, if it's not too much trouble, just when you get a chance? 6 qualifiers before the actual request. This is what I call the softening disease, the habitual need to shrink your asks before you make them, in order to preempt rejection. It feels polite, humble, considerate. But here's the truth. To the person receiving that request, it doesn't feel considerate. It feels exhausting. It signals low confidence. And low confidence, consciously or not, reads as low value. There's a direct line between how you ask for things and how much people respect your time, your needs, and your presence. Compare, "Hey, sorry, I know you're busy, but would you maybe have a second to look at this when you get a chance? No rush, totally fine if not." Versus, "Hey, when you have a moment today, can you take a look at this?" Same request. Completely different energy. The second version respects both people's time. It's direct. It assumes competence. It doesn't pre-apologize for existing. And people, even people who would never say this out loud, respond to that difference viscerally. Research on assertiveness and perceived status consistently shows that direct communicators are rated as more intelligent, more capable, and more worthy of leadership, regardless of the actual content of what they're saying. Your words aren't just carrying information. They're broadcasting your self-image. And if your self-image is, "I'm a burden who needs to apologize for taking up space," that's exactly what people receive. Every single time. Section 5. The consistency collapse. This one is quiet. This one is slow. This one ends relationships without a single argument. You say you're going to do something. You don't do it. Not dramatically. Not obviously. Just slightly. Just often enough. I'll call you this week. You don't. I'm working on it. You're not. Next time, for sure. There's no next time. Each one feels minor, forgivable, human. But the person on the other side is keeping score. Not vindicatively. Biologically. The human brain tracks reliability patterns the same way it tracks physical threats. It's the same neural circuitry, the same ancient threat detection system that kept our ancestors alive. When someone becomes unpredictable, when their words and actions stop aligning, the brain flags them as a low-trust entity. And low-trust entities lose status fast. Here's the brutal part. You don't need to lie to trigger this response. You just need to be casually inconsistent. Small promises broken. Small follow-throughs forgotten. And one day you'll notice the person you've been casually inconsistent with doesn't ask you for things anymore. Doesn't include you. Doesn't confide in you. They haven't confronted you. They've just quietly reclassified you. Not as an enemy. As someone who doesn't count. The antidote is almost painfully simple. Underpromise and overdeliver. Say less. Do more. Let your presence speak louder than your intentions. But most people do the opposite. Most people narrate their intentions constantly and deliver sporadically. And they can't understand why the people around them seem to trust them less over time. Now you know. Section 6. The victim frequency. There's a frequency some people broadcast constantly. And once you can hear it, you can never stop hearing it. It's the frequency of perpetual victimhood. Not genuine suffering, that's real, valid, and demands compassion. This is something different. This is the pattern of consistently framing every setback, every conflict, every disappointment as something done to you by external forces. The job didn't work out because the boss had it out for you. The friendship ended because the other person was toxic. The opportunity passed because the system was rigged. Maybe some of those things are true. Partially. Contextually. But when every story has the same structure, I was wronged, I was a victim, I was let down, people stop seeing you as a protagonist. They start seeing you as a side character in your own life. And here's the psychological mechanism under the hood. Respected people operate from what psychologists call an internal locus of control, the belief that their actions drive their outcomes. Even when external forces are real, they ask, what did I do? What could I have done? What will I do differently? People who broadcast victim frequency operate from an external locus of control. The world acts on them. They react. They suffer. They narrate. And the people around them, over time, quietly, stop bringing them into their plans. Stop consulting them. Stop investing in them. Not because they're bad people, but because people subconsciously choose to align with those who feel capable. Victim frequency broadcasts incapability. Every time. Section 7. The respect paradox. Here's the section most people skip past. Because it's uncomfortable. You can do everything right. Strong communication. Emotional regulation. Consistency. Directness. And people will still lose respect for you if you do this one thing. You tolerate disrespect without response. Every time someone talks over you and you smile and nod, you've taught them something. Every time someone dismisses your idea and you retreat, you've taught them something. Every time someone treats you poorly and you excuse it, rationalize it, absorb it, you've taught them something. You've taught them your floor. And once people know your floor, the lowest level of treatment you'll accept, they will, consciously or not, hover just above it. Not because they're monsters, Because humans are wired to test social boundaries. It's dominance hierarchy behavior. It's ancient. The research of social psychologist Dr. Keltner on the power paradox shows that people who consistently fail to defend their boundaries lose social status rapidly, not because others decide to take it from them, but because the lack of resistance signals that the status was never solidly held. Respect is not given. It is confirmed. It is confirmed when you don't laugh at the joke that demeans you. It is confirmed when you say, calmly and without drama, "That's not okay with me." It is confirmed when you walk away from the table before the deal becomes humiliating. Not with explosions. Not with anger. With quiet certainty. The people who command the most respect in any room are often the quietest. But there is something in their stillness that says, there is a line here. And I know exactly where it is. That is the paradox. You don't earn respect by chasing it. You earn it by needing it just a little bit less than everyone else in the room. Let me say something you might not be ready to hear. The people who've lost respect for you, most of them will never tell you. They won't stage an intervention. They won't send you an article. They won't give you the gift of honesty. They'll just fade. Slowly. Quietly. The invitations will slow. The conversations will shorten. The energy will shift. And you'll be left wondering what happened. Here's the truth that changes everything. Respect is not about what people think of you. It's about what you think of yourself, projected outward. Every behavior we talked about today, the over-explaining, the approval-seeking, the emotional leaking, the softening, the inconsistency, the victim frequency, the tolerance of disrespect, they all have one root. A quiet, deep-seated belief that you are slightly less than. Slightly less deserving of directness. Slightly less worthy of honesty. Slightly less allowed to occupy space without apologizing for it. That belief bleeds through everything. It colors your tone, your posture, your word choices, your silences. And people feel it. Not intellectually. Instinctively. You cannot fake respect. Not at the level that matters. Not the kind that compounds over years into genuine authority and authentic connection. You have to build it, internally, until it radiates outward without effort. The version of you that commands real respect? They're not louder. They're not colder. They're not more aggressive. They're just more settled. Settled in their worth. Settled in their choices. Settled in their right to exist without performing. That version of you already exists. You're just still learning how to stop apologizing for them. So here's where we are. You came into this video thinking it was about other people. How they lose respect. What they do wrong. But you felt it, didn't you? Somewhere in those 7 sections, you saw yourself. That's not an accident. That's psychology at work. The behaviors that strip respect are universal. They live in everyone to some degree. The question is whether you're willing to look at them honestly, without flinching, without defending, without excusing. If you are, everything changes. The way people hear you. The way rooms shift when you enter. The way people remember your name after a single conversation. It's all downstream of this. Watch this video again. The second time, you won't be watching it for the information. You'll be watching it for the person you haven't let yourself become yet. If you see this, you can't unsee it.